So one of the things that we need to deal with throughout our lives is a victim mentality. It's the idea that the world is out to get us, that people have hurt us over and over and over again, and this is who we are. It's our identity. A victim mentality is very seductive because when we complain about being a victim, we get a lot of attention, we get a lot of sympathy, and that feels good. Another benefit is that it feels like we have the moral high ground, and out of this place of moral high ground, we justify acts of revenge. But a victim mentality is a very dangerous place to be. It can lead to depression, but it can also lead to acts of revenge, and revenge always comes back to hurt us. So what is the way out of a victim mentality? That's what I want to discuss in this lesson. So the beginning of the way out of a victim mentality is to take responsibility for our own victim making, our own violence, because we all think that people have made us into victim, but rarely do we see how we have victimized others. And the way that I want to go about this is to have an activity and have 2 foam boards, and one foam board have pictures of everybody in the youth group. And if you can't get a picture of everybody in the youth group, then put a picture of Jesus up there. And on the other side of that, tape another foam board against it over the top. And as people walk in, have them draw pictures of someone that they don't like, someone that they hate, someone who has hurt them, and have them tape those pictures up against the foam board and give them all a dart, and have them throw darts up against the foam board, against the picture that they drew. And when they're all done, hopefully this will make them feel uncomfortable because it's a violent act, but when they're all done, ask them why you had them do this, and they'll come up with all kinds of great answers. And then flip up the first foam board, and they'll see that by throwing a dart against the person that they don't like, they've also thrown a dart against themselves or against Jesus. What does this mean? It's a way of taking responsibility for our violence and seeing that when we throw darts, whether they're verbal or physical darts at another person, we're also throwing darts at ourselves. It's all interconnected. Discuss what this means. One person in our group said that he was recently at a camp, and at the camp he met all kinds of new people, and one guy really made him angry. He seemed arrogant, he seemed mean and nasty, like he was throwing darts at people. And this member of our youth group said that he judged him right away as this mean, nasty person. And in that judgment, he was also throwing darts back at this person. Well, as the week went on, there was this opportunity to share stories with one another about their life experiences. And this guy that he had judged started opening up about his life and how his parents were abusive to him and how he didn't have really very many friends. So this boy had gotten darts, physical and verbal darts, thrown at him throughout his life. And this is where he was coming out of. He was coming out of a place of victimhood. And out of this place, he was throwing darts at people so that they wouldn't get close to him. And that it worked because people judged him right away as being a jerk, and they stayed away from him. And that in and of itself is throwing darts. And so the danger in throwing darts at people is that it makes us just like them, judgmental, violent. It allows us to throw physical and verbal darts at one another, and it's got to stop. The only way that it's going to stop is to put the darts down and live in a spirit of forgiveness, live in a spirit of love for the other. What this boy needed was not more darts thrown at him, but compassion. And this is where we get at the scriptural passage. Paul, in 1 Corinthians, is writing a letter to the people in Corinth. And the people in Corinth are all throwing verbal and physical darts at one another, hurting one another. They're having these big conflicts with one another. And Paul writes them a letter and says, remember, you are all interconnected. And the way that he does this is he compares it to a body. their life together is like one body. And he says, if your toe hurts, every part of your body feels it. If your head hurts, every part of your body feels it. If your arm hurts, everything hurts. This is how it should be with one another, and you're not living this way. We can become blind to the interconnectedness that we have. We can become numb to it. And so when we go down the road of throwing darts at one another, we become numb to our interconnectedness. And what Paul is trying to do here is make us hypersensitive to the needs of our fellow human beings. And so when you see someone throwing darts, what they need is not more darts thrown at them, but compassion and love. So those are my thoughts on this youth group lesson, and I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks.